Hello friends, thanks for being here. Take just a minute to like and subscribe. Let me back up and show you what I've got going on the quilting bed right now. She's working hard here on Renee's quilt. Renee brought this in. This is actually for her grandson's wedding. It's 98 inches by 85 inches, so she's a pretty good size gal right here. She made this, like I say, for the grandson, and she said she started with the star in the center, and then she just built out from there. Basically kind of her own design. As you can see, lots of half square triangles all the way around. Beautiful colors, the turquoise and the teal. I'm quite certain that grandson and his new wife are going to be in love with this. Anybody who's come and seen it sitting on the quilting rack has fallen in love with it and made many comments. And now it's up here on the quilting bed. And anybody who's come into the quilting studio in the last little bit has loved it as well. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Again, she started with a star in the center, went out from there. Half square triangles everywhere make up this quilt with some sashing in between. Now, when you have a lot of points coming together, like right what we have going right here, what can happen is all of these seams can create a lot of bulk, a lot of density, a lot of thickness. So the best thing to do when you have a lot of that is to spread those open and press that seam open. That's really going to help keep the bulk down. It's going to help my sweet gal to be able to travel over a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot more smoother on the top of your quilt. So that's always a good idea. Anytime you have lots of seams, consider pressing them open. If you just have a couple of seams, that's not necessary. I'm all about people pressing them open, that's for sure. But anytime you have a lot of density, anytime you have flannels, t-shirts, quilts, fleeces, many seams coming together, Lemoyne stars, Lone stars, I would always suggest such a thing. Let's go ahead and turn this over and take a peek at the pressing job on the underside of the quilt. Nicely done. Not only do you want to be pressing the back side of the top of the quilt, always turn it over and press the top as well. What can happen is you're pressing along with the bottom, but you don't recognize that you've got a little bit of lap over right there. You did do a great job of bringing this over top in this particular fashion, but you didn't realize that under here, part of this piece is still being pushed under a little bit, and that is causing some lapping over. And then when that happens, she can just keep stitching across it, and no one wants that to happen. I'm very fastidious. I watch for all of those pieces and try to give them the right kind of tension so that pulls out. But that is something I want you to be aware of. Something I wanted also to show you on Renee's quilt is the border here. What do I talk about when you're splicing, when you're connecting your borders? I almost always talk about splicing at the diagonal, right? Do I always talk about that? And I always talk about how well your eye moves across it when you have spliced it at the diagonal, versus when you splice it straight up and down, because your eye has a better ability to travel over that, except when there's a moment when it's different. And I don't get it very often, but this happens to be one of the examples, so I definitely want to point it out. She's got splicing right here. Because this is such a geometric shape, when she does the splicing on the straight edge, your eye actually is traveling quite nicely across it. She's literally got splicing right there. And I only know it because I ran my hand over it. I knew that it was going to be there, and I wanted to point it out to you. This is the time when it is perfectly fine to splice straight on, and probably would be preferable. So if you have questions about that, pop it down below. Let's have a discussion. I have lots of tips and tricks about many things about your quilts, and would be happy to help you. I've done thousands of quilts over here at the quilting studio. I've seen so many different quilts here. I've seen so many challenges. I've seen so many benefits, and would be happy to help you out with that as well. I'm also going to be trimming Renee's quilt. I have a large area in which to do that. Like I say, the quilt is 98 by 85, and so I have a large area in which to trim it, so I would highly suggest you consider having me do it. I'm very fastidious about it. I can get it done swiftly and appropriately. When you see your quilt for the first time, you're not going to have all these pieces of the batting hanging off. You're going to see it ready to go. It's perfectly ready for the binding. Even better, consider having me doing the binding. I'm very passionate about beautiful bindings. So other questions or thoughts, pop them down below. Let's start a conversation. I'm going to move her right down to the next section, and we're going to get some more quilting done.